Let's get right to the truth. Self-discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You can have the best ideas in the world, a vision board filled with dreams, and an attitude as positive as a sunrise, but without self-discipline, you'll be stuck at the starting line, watching life pass you by. In all my years of studying successful men and women, one lesson rings louder than all the rest. Discipline isn't just another good habit. It's the master skill that makes every other skill possible. Self-discipline is the quiet force that keeps you moving when motivation runs out. It's the inner resolve that gets you up before dawn, keeps you focused when distractions are everywhere, and reminds you of your why when it would be easier to quit. It's not glamorous. Nobody throws you a parade for saying no to temptation or yes to one more hour of hard work. But behind every triumph, every breakthrough, every so-called overnight success, you'll find a long trail of disciplined decisions made in private, paid out in public. Let's be honest. In a world obsessed with shortcuts and quick fixes, discipline isn't exactly trending. We want results yesterday. We want abs without sweat, money without risk, and success without sacrifice. But life doesn't play by those rules. The universe hands out rewards to those who stick it out, do the work, and pay the price own decision at a time. Discipline is not about punishing yourself or living like a monk. It's about mastering yourself, your impulses, your schedule, your habits, your reactions. It's the difference between living on purpose and living on autopilot. The undisciplined mind follows every distraction, every craving, every shiny object. The disciplined mind chooses its course and then keeps steering, no matter how rough the waters. Let's break it down. Self-discipline starts with small choices. It's the decision to finish what you start, to show up when you'd rather hit snooze, to keep your promise 7 when nobody's watching. It's saying no to what you want now, for what you want most. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Start with one routine, one commitment, one area where you draw a line in the sand and say, this is who I am, this is what I do. Here's something you might not expect. Discipline is actually freeing. When you develop the muscle to do what needs to be done, you gain control over your life. You stop being a slave to moods, cravings, and distractions. You build momentum. Every day you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. And confidence, my friend, is the fuel for every other kind of success. So let me challenge you right now. Don't wait for motivation to save you. Decide what matters most and build your day around it. Make discipline your ally, your secret weapon, your non-negotiable habit. The world might not notice at first, but trust me, your future self will thank you for every disciplined choice you make, starting today. Let's not sugarcoat itself. Discipline is not natural for most people. Our brains are wired for comfort, for pleasure, for the easy way out. If you ever feel like your mind is plotting against your goals, congratulations, you're human. But here's the good news self. Discipline isn't a superpower, it's a practice. Nobody wakes up one day with iron willpower and a six-pack of good habits. Discipline is forged, not found. It starts with the little things. Think about it, success is just a series of small disciplines, repeated day in and day out, long after the excitement is gone. You don't build a legacy by making one big decision. You build it by making thousands of small ones, getting up on time, saying no to another hour of mindless scrolling, doing the work when nobody else cares. Those moments add up. Each small victory is a vote for the person you're becoming. But let's get real. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not the before and after photo. It's not the viral post. It's the stuff nobody sees, the early mornings, the late nights, the hundreds of times you choose your future over your feelings. People will call you boring, obsessive, even stubborn. Let them talk. While they're watching Netflix, you're building a future. While they're complaining, you're creating. While they're waiting for a sign, you're making progress, one disciplined day at a time. Let's bust a myth right now. I'm just not a disciplined person. That's an excuse, not a diagnosis. Nobody is born with a user manual for discipline. It's built through repetition, through falling down and getting up, through learning what works for you and ruthlessly eliminating what doesn't. You get disciplined the same way you get strong, by showing up, by struggling, and by refusing to quit. If you struggle with self-discipline, start by tracking one habit. It could be reading for 10 minutes, drinking water, or finishing your most important task before noon. Write it down. Check it off. Let yourself feel the satisfaction of a promise kept. Progress doesn't come from giant leaps, it comes from consistent steps. And don't confuse discipline with punishment. This isn't about making life miserable. True discipline is self-respect in action. It's saying, I'm worth the effort, my dreams matter enough to fight for. Every time you choose discipline, you reinforce your identity as someone who follows through. Eventually, it becomes automatic a part of who you are. You will have setbacks, you will miss days, you will be tempted to quit. That's part of the process. What matters is that you start again every time, a little bit stronger. Self-discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. So the next time you feel your motivation slipping, remember, discipline picks up where motivation leaves off. Train your mind to do the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. That's the difference between wishing for a better life and building one. Let's talk about setbacks, because here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Even the most disciplined people slip. Everyone has days when old habits creep in, when excuses get loud, and when you fall short of your own standards. The difference isn't that disciplined people never fail, it's that they don't let a bad day turn into a bad week, or a bad week into a bad life. Discipline is less about perfection and more about resilience. If you've ever broken a streak, missed a workout, wasted a morning, or fell back into old habits, don't panic. The secret is to reset quickly. The most successful people I've met don't waste time on guilt trips. They learn, they adjust, and they get back to work. Regret is a lousy fuel source. Determination is far better. Here's a powerful technique: plan for failure. That's right. Expect setbacks. Build systems, not just willpower. If you know you struggle with late-night snacking, don't rely on heroic self-control at midnight. Don't keep junk food in the house. If you have trouble focusing, put your phone in another room during deep work. If you always forget your goals, put reminders where you can't miss them. Discipline isn't about fighting battles all day, it's about making sure you win by default. Another truth: the more you practice discipline, the less you need to rely on brute force. Habits take over. Your environment works with you, not against you. Eventually, you won't need to talk yourself into doing the right thing. It becomes the path of least resistance. That's the magic of disciplined living. And let's kill the drama. Discipline doesn't mean life is dull, rigid, or joyless. In fact, self-discipline creates more freedom. When you control your time, your habits, and your attention, you have more space for what truly matters. You don't waste energy cleaning up after bad decisions. You're not held hostage by impulses or mood swings. That's not a prison, that's real power. Let's talk identity. Want to be more disciplined? Start acting like the person you want to become. Instead of saying, I'm trying to quit smoking, say, I'm not a smoker. Instead of, I'm trying to be healthier, say, I'm a healthy person. Each disciplined choice is a vote for your new identity. Over time, your actions rewrite your story. But here's a warning: don't let perfect become the enemy of good. Progress is always messy. Some days will be a grind, others will feel effortless. What matters is consistency, not flawlessness. If you slip, don't spiral. Hit reset and get back on track. Remember, discipline is a daily choice. It's not something you arrive at once and for all. It's a skill, a habit built with every action, every decision, every moment you choose your future over your comfort. So, what's one discipline choice you can make today, no matter how small? Start there and keep building. Your best life isn't waiting for you somewhere down the lineage, it's being built, choice by choice, right now. Now let's get tactical. How do you actually build self-discipline so it sticks? The secret is consistency, not intensity. Most people burn out because they go too hard, too fast, and then give up when the excitement fades. Real discipline grows in small doses, repeated daily. You don't need to run a marathon your first week. Just lace up your shoes and walk around the block. You don't need to write a novel tonight. Just put one sentence on the page. The goal is to make the action so easy you can't say no. Think of discipline like a muscle. You wouldn't try to bench press 300 pounds on day one. You'd start small, build strength, and gradually increase the weight. Same with habits. Pick one thing, do it consistently, and then add more as your discipline grows. Each little win is a proof point. See, I can trust myself to follow through. Over time, those wins add up, and your confidence becomes unshakable. Let's talk about routines. The most disciplined people I know don't rely on inspiration, they rely on structure. Morning routines, evening wind downs, set work blocks, these are all guardrails that keep you moving in the right direction when motivation fizzles out. You don't have to build a military schedule, but you do need anchors in your day. Decide ahead of time what matters most and give it a place on your calendar. Treat your priorities like appointments you can't break. Another tip, remove the friction. Make good choices the easy choices. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Prep your meals in advance. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb during your deep work. The fewer decisions you have to make in the moment, the more likely you'll stick to your plan. Remember, your environment is stronger than your willpower on a bad day. But don't forget to celebrate progress. Too many people skip this step, thinking discipline has to be all grit and no joy. That's a fast track to burnout. When you hit a milestone, no matter how small, give yourself credit. Reward yourself for consistency, not just big outcomes. This trains your brain to associate discipline with positive feelings, making it easier to keep going. Here's something else. Public commitment can supercharge your discipline. Tell a friend your goal, join a challenge, share your progress, even if it's just with one person. Accountability is the fuel when your internal fire flickers out. Nobody wants to admit they bailed on their promise, even if it's just to their own dog. Remember, the real magic isn't in never missing a day, it's in never missing 2 days in a row. If you get off track, don't let shame or frustration take the wheel. Course correct fast and get back to your routine. Over time, discipline becomes not just what you do, but who you are. So if you want a better life, start by mastering the small things every day. Stack up the wins, build the muscle, and trust that, one brick at a time, you're constructing a foundation nothing and no one can take from you. Let's look at what happens when self-discipline becomes part of who you are, not just something you try on when life gets tough. Here's a little secret. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're telling your subconscious, I'm someone who follows through. That message, repeated enough times, changes everything from your confidence to your results, even to the way others see you. You'll notice it first in your own head. Your self-talk shifts. Instead of, I can't stick to anything, you start thinking, if I say I'll do it, I do it. That's the kind of quiet power that carries you through the hardest days. The more you act with discipline, the less you rely on fleeting motivation or outside approval. Your backbone stiffens. You find it easier to say no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what moves you forward even when nobody's clapping. But the impact doesn't stop with you. People notice discipline. They see you showing up early, doing the work, refusing to cut corners, and keeping commitment 7 when it's inconvenient. It builds trust. In the workplace, disciplined people are the ones leaders look to for big projects, promotions, and opportunities. They're reliable. In relationships, discipline means you listen, you show up, you follow through on your word. Trust is built brick by brick, and discipline is the mortar that holds it all together. Here's another unexpected bonus. Self-discipline breeds creativity. When your life isn't chaos, when you have routines, healthy habits, and clear boundaries, you free up mental energy for new ideas, problem solving, and growth. You're not constantly playing catch-up or cleaning up yesterday's messes. You're thinking ahead. That's where the breakthroughs happen. Let's not forget resilience. The world is unpredictable. The market shifts, plans fall apart, and curveballs come out of nowhere. But if you've built discipline, you're ready. You don't collapse at the first sign of stress. You adapt, you persist, and you keep going because you trust your ability to handle the hard stuff. Of course, discipline doesn't mean a life of denial or joylessness. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The most disciplined people know when and how to enjoy the rewards. They rest with intention, celebrate with purpose, and find satisfaction in the journey, not just the destination. So, what does this mean for you? Make discipline a daily practice, not a punishment. Track your wins, however small. Celebrate progress. Let every disciplined choice reinforce the story you're writing about yourself, that you are trustworthy, resilient, and in control of your future. And remember, you don't have to be perfect, just persistent. Over time, discipline stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like freedom. Now, let's get to the part nobody advertises on motivational posters. Discipline can feel like a battle sometimes, a battle against your own instincts. There are days when your mind serves up every excuse in the book. Just this once. I deserve a break. Tomorrow I'll start for real. Sound familiar? Don't worry, you're not broken, you're human. The key is not to silence those voices, but to outlast them. Here's a secret most people never learn. Discipline gets easier the more you use it. In the beginning, every choice feels like a wrestling match with your own willpower. But as you build habits, you need less grit and more autopilot. Those tough decisions become routine. The hard choices become default. What used to require mental kung fu is now just another Tuesday. But why go through the hassle at all? Simple discipline buys you freedom. Sounds backwards, right? But think about it. When you're disciplined with your time, you're not always stressed and scrambling. When you're disciplined with your money, you don't panic over bills. When you're disciplined with your health, you're not at the mercy of every craving or crisis. Discipline might look strict on the outside, but on the inside, it feels like peace. Let's talk about the difference between willpower and systems. Willpower is like a phone battery, it drains fast. Systems are like plugging into the wall. If you want to be disciplined over the long term, build systems that make good choices automatic. Prepare your meals in advance, schedule workouts with a friend, put your savings on autopilot. Every system you build is a bet in favor of your future self. And when you slip, because you will, ditch the guilt. It's not about being perfect. If you fall off the horse, don't set up camp on the ground, get up, dust off, and ride again. Laughter helps here sometimes. You have to laugh at your own stubbornness, hit reset, and keep moving. Remember, self-discipline is the quiet driver behind every achievement you admire. The authors who write every day, the athletes who train in the rain, the entrepreneurs who keep building after everyone else calls it a day, they're not relying on endless motivation. They've simply made discipline their normal. So the next time you look at someone crushing their goals and think, I could never be that disciplined, remember, neither could they at first. They just started, stuck with it, and made discipline their default. Bottom line, discipline is a gift you give yourself. It takes effort in the short term, but pays you back for the rest of your life. And yes, sometimes it even leaves you with a good story to tell, usually about the time you argued with your alarm clock and lost. Let's get real. One of the biggest tests of self-discipline isn't fighting your own temptations, it's dealing with the world around you. The moment you start making changes, someone is bound to notice, and not always in a supportive way. Friends invite you out when you're on a deadline. Family pushes dessert when you're eating healthy. Colleagues roll their eyes when you choose work over gossip. Suddenly it feels like your discipline is on trial. Here's the truth. Most people are uncomfortable when someone raises the bar. It forces them to confront their own habits, and sometimes they'll try to pull you back consciously or not. You'll hear lines like, relax, live a little, or you're taking this too seriously. Here's my advice, Ismail, thank them for their concern, and keep going. You're not here to make everyone comfortable, you're here to make yourself proud. Self-discipline means knowing what matters to you and protecting it even when it's inconvenient, even when it's unpopular. It's about drawing your own boundaries and sticking to them. That doesn't mean you have to be rigid or unfriendly. You can say no without burning bridges. Thanks for the invite, but I've got other plans. No dessert for me tonight, I'm on a mission. Most people will respect your choices if you own them confidently, and if they don't, that's not your problem to solve. Here's another challenge. The world is full of distractions, and most of them are designed to steal your focus. Social media, endless notifications, the 24-hour news cycle, each one wants your attention, your energy, your time. Self-discipline is your shield. Turn off what doesn't serve you. Protect your workspace. Schedule your day around your highest priorities, not someone else's emergencies. And don't underestimate the power of environment. If you want to be disciplined, make it easy to succeed and hard to fail. Want to read more? Keep books everywhere. Want to work out? Pack your gym bag the night before. Want to eat healthier? Fill your fridge with good choices. Stack the deck in your favor. Most importantly, keep your eyes on your own lane. Comparison is the enemy of progress. Don't let other people's opinions or their lack of discipline knock you off course. Your goals, your rules. At the end of the day, the only person you answer to is the one in the mirror. Self-discipline isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than you were yesterday. And sometimes the boldest thing you can do is stay true to your standards, no matter who's watching. Let's talk about the quiet rewards of self-discipline, the kind that sneak up on you months or even years after you started. At first, discipline feels like effort. It's you versus the snooze button, the cookies, or the endless temptations of the easy way out. But over time, something subtle but powerful happens. Your habits take over. What was once a struggle becomes second nature. You don't have to think twice, you just do the right thing, because that's who you've become. The real magic of discipline is how it rewires your self-respect. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you notch a quiet victory. Maybe nobody else notices, but you do. That win stays with you, boosting your confidence for the next challenge. Pretty soon, you're not just keeping up, you're moving ahead, stacking one success on top of another until momentum is on your side. There's something else discipline gives you that most people overlook: peace of mind. No more scrambling at the last minute, apologizing for missed deadlines, or feeling guilty about broken promises to yourself. When you're disciplined, you trust yourself. You know you'll show up, you'll do the work, and you'll get the result 7 if it takes longer than you thought. And let's talk about pride, not the arrogant, show-off kind, but the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing you didn't cut corners, that you chose effort over excuses, that you kept your word. That pride is fuel for even bigger goals. It's why the person who finishes a morning run in the rain walks taller all day, not because someone gave them a trophy, but because they earned it themselves. Here's the beauty of discipline: the benefits compound. You get a little stronger, a little more confident, a little more respected every time you keep going. You become someone others rely on and someone you can rely on too. But don't be fooled, discipline doesn't mean never having fun or always living by a rigid script. In fact, it's what gives you the freedom to truly enjoy your downtime, your celebrations, your successes, because you know you've earned them. So celebrate those small wins. Each disciplined choice, each goal met, each habit kept is another brick in the foundation of a life you actually want to live. And when you look back months, years from now, you'll see that every little yes to discipline was really a yes to yourself. Bottom line, discipline is like planting seeds. The work is up front, but the harvest, that keeps on coming. Start today and thank yourself tomorrow. Now let's talk about why self-discipline is the ultimate unfair advantage. In a world where most people chase comfort and shortcuts, discipline stands out like a lighthouse in a sea of drifting ships. Employers notice it, partners respect it, even your competitors can't help but take you seriously. Why? Because discipline is rare, and rare is valuable. Think about it though, many people do you know who actually keep their word, show up early, do the work, and finish what they start? How many people say they'll start tomorrow and then, well, you know the rest. When you consistently follow through, you become the exception, not the rule. That's why disciplined people get promoted, get trusted, and get chosen for the opportunities that matter. But let's get even more real. Discipline is your best insurance policy against chaos. Life throws curveballs at everyone. Plans fall apart, markets crash, and unexpected crises show up at the worst time. You can't control the storm, but you can control your response. Self-discipline is what keeps you steady when everything else is shaking. It's the difference between riding out the waves and being swept away. Let's talk relationships. Discipline isn't just about your routines or your work ethics, it's about how you show up for other people. When you keep your promises, respect boundaries, and take responsibility, you build trust that money can't buy. Want to be a better partner, parent, or friend? Start by showing up with discipline. Be reliable, be present, be the one who can be counted, one especially when it matters most. Here's the irony. Discipline isn't flashy. It's rarely celebrated in the moment. Most of your best victories will happen quietly, behind closed doors, when no one is watching. But over time, those wins stack up. Your reputation grows. People start to say, if you want something done, give it to them. That's how leaders are born. And don't forget, discipline is contagious. When you raise your own standards, people around you start to rise too. Teams become more effective. Families become closer. Even your social circle shifts to match your energy and focus. So ask yourself, where can you raise the bar, even just a little? What's one area where more discipline would change the game? Start there. Because in a world full of excuses, discipline is the trump card and you get to play it every single day. So here we are at the end of our journey together, and maybe you're thinking, all right, Hill, I get it, discipline matters, but how do I make it last? Let me be clear. Self-discipline is not about a one-time heroic effort. It's not about gritting your teeth for a week or muscling through a 30-day challenge. It's about building a lifestyle loan that serves you long after the initial excitement is gone. Here's the real secret. Discipline is about values, not just willpower. When you know why you want something, when your goal lines up with your deepest values, it becomes easier to stay the course. Remind yourself daily what's truly important. Is it health, freedom, providing for your family, leaving a legacy? Anchor your discipline to something bigger than just a number on a scale or dollars in the bank. And don't go it alone. Surround yourself with people who expect the best from you and from themselves. Accountability is discipline's best friend. Find mentors, partners, or even rivals who push you to be better. Share your goals, celebrate your progress, and be honest about your setbacks. You'll find that discipline grows stronger in good company. Expect obstacles. There will be days when nothing goes as planned, when motivation vanishes, when the old habits try to sneak back in. That's when you lean on your systems, your environment, and your community. That's when you remember a setback isn't a failure, it's feedback. Get up, adjust, and keep moving. Never forget, every disciplined act is a vote for your future self. You may not see the results today or tomorrow, but over weeks, months, and years, those votes add up. The life you dream of is built on the foundation of the choices you make when no one's watching. And here's the best part. The more you practice discipline, the more freedom you unlock. Freedom from regret, freedom from chaos. Freedom to pursue bigger dreams, take bigger risks, and live with more confidence and pride. That's what separates the average from the exceptional, the willingness to do what's right, even when it's not easy. So as we close, here's your challenge. Pick one area of your life, just one where a little more discipline could make a big difference. Start small, keep it simple, show up every day, track your progress. When you stumble, don't quite reset, and celebrate every step forward, no matter how tiny. In the end, self-discipline is the invisible hand shaping your destiny. It's the muscle that lifts your life from average to extraordinary. It's the quiet power behind every lasting achievement. Make it your trademark, your daily practice, your promise to yourself. You don't need more motivation. You need more action-disciplined action. Start today. Your future self is already cheering you on.